and coordinated action in response to the earthquake in Haiti. I am proud to say I have supported each of these initiatives. There has been an outpouring of international support for Haiti. The first priority has been saving lives. That means getting water, food, shelter, medicine, and other basic supplies to victims. Beyond the essentials are issues of security and debt repayments, both of which can undermine rebuilding efforts. The United Nations Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, sought approval from the Security Council to send an additional 3,500 security officers to Haiti. The officers are needed both to maintain public order and to guard deliveries of food and aid. So far, violence has been scattered, but fears of violence grow as the difficulties of living without water, food, and shelter mount. As World Bank President Robert Zoellick has said, outside support should be in the form of grants. Through grants, money can be appropriated according to goals and capacity while easing Haiti's debt burden. For example, Haiti owes about $38 million to the World Bank. Mr. Zoellick, however, announced that no debt repayments for the next 5 years, and the World Bank is seeking to cancel all of Haiti's remaining debt owed to it. Many relief organizations are accepting donations to send to Haitians. Cash donations are the most efficient and effective way to help the relief effort in Haiti right now. They allow humanitarian organizations to purchase, often within the affected region itself, the exact type and quantity of items needed by those affected by the crisis. You can find organizations and ways to help through the White House's website, which is www.whitehouse.gov, or visit the U.S. Agency for International Development's website at www.usaid.gov, which has a list of non-governmental organizations and instructions on how to help. Mr. Speaker, Haiti is the world's first black-led republic and the first Caribbean state to achieve independence, which came in 1804. Haiti is still plagued by violent confrontations between rival gangs and political groups. Current President Rene Preval won the presidential elections in February 2006 with 51% of the vote. Haiti's serious underlying social problem, the wealth gap between the impoverished Creole-speaking black majority and the French-speaking minority, 1% of whom own nearly half of the country's wealth, remains unresolved. Even prior to the earthquake, Haiti's infrastructure has all but collapsed, and drug trafficking has become a major problem. Today, Haiti is the poorest, least developed country in the Western Hemisphere, and prior to the earthquake was ranked 149 out of 182 countries on the United Nations Human Development Index. We've all seen the pictures on TV of the children of Haiti. It is heartbreaking. We all recognize the urgent need for assistance to the smallest of the earthquake's victims. The outpouring of sympathy has led many to consider adopting a Haitian child. However, Mr. Speaker, the U.S. State Department recently announced that new adoption applications are not being processed. At this time, the main priority is reuniting children with their families. The process of determining whether a child is an orphan is a long and complicated one. The recent adoptions that have been processed were Haitian children who had previously been matched and cleared for entry into the United States. Since last week, the UN Children's Fund, UNICEF, and its partners have identified and registered some 200 unaccompanied children found in orphanages and wandering in neighborhoods in Port-au-Prince. Based on the given information and photographs taken, workers will begin to trace the families of these children if they exist. A similar registry was used after the 2004 tsunami in Indonesia, and more recently in cyclone-hit Myanmar. For now, the best assistance that individuals can provide is to make a financial contribution to a reputable relief or humanitarian organization working in Haiti. Days after the earthquake, Secretary of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano announced the designation of temporary protected status for Haitian nationals who were in the United States as of January 12, 2010. This designation will allow eligible Haitian nationals in the United States to continue living and working in our community for the next 18 months. TPS will provide a temporary refuge for Haitian nationals who are currently in the United States and whose personal safety would be endangered by returning to Haiti. Granting TPS to Haitians would provide them with the ability to work legally and contribute to the reconstruction of their country until it is safe for them to return. Haiti has enormous potential, but rebuilding the country requires a coordinated strategy. Here in the U.S., we can support the transition from humanitarian assistance to reconstruction through cash for work programs, so Haitians can be paid for clearing roadways and reconstructing infrastructure. Haiti can also boost its and building the infrastructure for power grids, ports, and roads. Also important is revitalizing agriculture so that Haitians can replace food aid programs with food harvested from their own farms. To jumpstart the Haitian economy, in 2008, Congress passed the Haiti Opportunity Through Partnership Encouragement Act, better known as the HOPE Act, which provides special rules for the duty-free treatment of select apparel imports, which is Haiti's dominant manufacturing sector. With access to the United States market through this agreement, Haiti can create jobs in its apparel and agricultural sectors. Haiti's reconstruction must create jobs for Haitians, grow the Haitian economy, instill confidence in the government, and be managed transparently. This will require Haitians to unify, since foreign assistance can only go so far. The Haitian people working with their government must come together to rebuild a newer, stronger Haiti. The difficulties faced by Haitians should not deter us from providing assistance. Our leadership and moral strength is only enhanced when we help others. Truly, we lift as we rise.